It is Wednesday, August 14th here at the West End Gun Club. It's almost 6 o'clock. I got here about 40 minutes ago and it was still too dark to shoot. I'm here for a quick range session. I do have work today, so I need to get to the home office, by 8 or so. But I wanted to come out to the range to do a little bit more testing with the 22 GT. I worked up a few more loads since the last session. I was looking at data online from forums, and a lot of people are going over published max to get the velocities they're getting. And I'm thinking, I'll push it a little bit to see what we're at as far as pressure signs. But I don't know if I really care to push these 85.5 Bergers beyond 3000. I don't think it's really necessary, but I'll go ahead and just try it anyway for fun. I also got a can of Hodgdon 4831 shortcut, which is also a suitable powder for 22 GT and the 85.5s, which can get slightly more velocity. So I'm going to try that. As far as seeing how that goes, I'll work up some loads there. But the sun is starting to come out right now, or at least enough light is out so we can start shooting. I can't be here too long because I got to get to work. But let's go ahead and get rounds downrange. Hodgdon lists max with 4350 and the 85.5s as 33.6, so I'm going to start off today with 33.0. I already shot 33.0s last time I was out with this 22 GT, but I just wanted to make sure that the velocities are kind of in line with what we got last time. So 2915, that's really hot, I think. Well, is it hot? I don't know. 2915 feet per second off a cold clean bore. I did clean the barrel. And if you remember from last time I was out, the first shot in string was always like 40 to 50 feet per second faster than the rest. .2905 seems like it's settling down. At least the second shot is close to the first. Starting to drop, 2092. .2883. So yeah, that's about 40 feet per second faster on the first shot than the last two. .2887. All right, yeah, definitely the first shot's still hotter. 11.8 SD, 31 extreme spread, the high and the low. The average is going to be 2896 with a, sorry, my eyes are messed up. So 2896 with just a 5-round string with that one anomaly. So it's probably going to be slower, I guess. 2890, I would think, average. But let's go ahead and we'll skip. I have 5 more rounds of 33.0. Let's go ahead and switch to 33.5, which is close to max, which I didn't shoot last time I was out. I'm going to go ahead and try to give it a couple minutes to cool down. We'll see if that issue with the fast first round is still prevalent with a cold or a cooler barrel. Someone made a comment on my video with the 22 GT last time, was that they also had the same issue in the first 100 rounds or so, and it went away. So maybe that's just more of a barrel breaking thing. You probably noticed that's a scope chap on the Vortex Razor AC Gen 2. I didn't have it on last time because I just decided to order one since I never had a scope chap for this scope. It's a cover for a scope. A lot of people have commented on my recent video, or like past videos rather, on my Zecos where I had a cover on it. They're always wondering, hey, what's that cover on your scope? And I always tell them it's a scope chap. And I think it's a pretty nifty thing to have on your gun. 2959 for that first round of 33.5, or on your scope. It's a nice way to protect it. I mean, most people, they don't really care. I mean, you scratch up scope, whatever. But it's nice to just have a little protector on there if you shoot PRS or anything that requires you to run your gun through barricades and stuff. It does help out quite a bit in terms of protecting that optic. Plus, it's just a cool way to have patches and stuff on there to kind of customize the look of your firearm. So it's another reason to get it. 2926. $29.37. $29.18. Starting to drop velocities. $29.35. Average is $29.35, but the standard deviation is 14. Extreme set of 41. We'll have to take a look at that first round. It could be an anomaly as far as skewing this 5-round string. All right, let's see what we got here. This is 34 grains, so we're going to keep an eye on what our bolt feels like when we fire these, if they're over max, and what our primers look like. It's a little cooler this morning for the summer in SoCal. It's about 70 degrees right now. Very comfortable. 30-15 for the first round. And primers look good. No real extractor swipes here, so we look fine. $29.69, so it dropped. Again, we're getting the high and lows. $29.78. $29.72. $29.76. So it looks like $29.70 is going to be roughly where it's going to be at. According to this, it's $29.82, but the first round was way over 3,000, so that skews our data here. However, based on the pressure sign or the brass and what we're going to look for as far as pressure signs, there's nothing here that looks concerning. No cratering that I can detect. Primers look okay. They're not flattened. There's a significant gap between the primer and the case head, like the edge there. It's distinct. There's a good gap there. But I think we're okay on this end. Oh, I lost my paper here. So I think we're okay. Let's go ahead and push we'll shoot the 34.5, which is probably like almost a full grain over max. And then this will be a good, sorry, I have my mic off my chest. Hopefully you can hear me. This will be a good test here to see like how far over max we can go. I've heard people going to 36 grains based on forum post about 22 GT, which, wow, that's amazing that you can go that high. And they think it's still safe. That's how guys are claiming they're getting 3,100 feet per second with an 85.5 Berger. I don't think I'll be doing that though. But I will say that if you're going to go over max, you need to make sure that you test half a grain above what you plan on doing, simply because with pressure or temperature sensitivity on a hot day, that'll increase the pressures. So you'll want to know how that impacts what your load's going to be like if you're shooting that load that you want to shoot in hot temperatures, like 100-degree weather. So that's what I would recommend doing, is always test that above to make sure that you're okay. As far as possible pressure spikes. $30.64. Watch. I'm going to bet the next round's going to be in the 30-10, probably 30-10 roughly. Let's take a look at that primer real quick. It looks good. So 30-20, so it did drop. $30.37. $30.63. Okay. Group's not that good though, so we're safe here. Primers look good. Nothing on the case head of concern. No cratering. Definitely still a distinct roundness on the primer edges between that and the case. So we're fine. Bolt felt good. Like there was no excessive bolt lip or stuck bolt. So I think we're okay there. I'm gonna shoot the shortcut. I got 85.5 Bergers with 4831 shortcut. I have 3 different loads, 37.5, 38, and 38.5. So max with shortcut is going to be, what do I have here? 38.2. So I'm over max on one of the loads, but I started like a little bit under max instead of starting from the min load, simply to save time here, because I figure we've got pretty good data with the 4350. I think we can trust starting a little bit higher in the range with 4831 shortcut. But let's go ahead and shoot these, and then I'm going to run through these. It's already 6:21, so I'm trying to get through this so I can get out of here. In a lot of my range vlogs, I have footage of me using my Garmin Xero C1 Pro chronograph, which I did release a video review, long-term video review of this. And I already wrote a review on my blog a long time ago. So if you haven't seen those or read those, I'll put a link to those in the video description. However, a lot of people watch these videos and they're like, hey, your Garmin is too far forward, it's too far to the right, too far to the left, too far back. It's not within 5 or 15 inches. And so yes, that's a guidance, that's like kind of the instructions. However, if you've used these things long enough, you understand that it doesn't really, it's not that strict, right? You can be out of that range. There's a video of someone who was testing the Garmin Xero C1 on extreme edges with rimfire, and it still picked up. He like went way beyond 2 feet. And so it's not that strict, and you'll be fine. If you don't, stay within 5 or 15 for the bore or the muzzle. Ooh, 3044.4. While I'm waiting for my barrel to cool down, I just wanted to talk about one topic that some people have asked me about, including family, friends, was the U.S. Olympics, and how U.S. Olympics, the shooting disciplines, the U.S. was not doing very well at all. I think we probably took a couple silvers. I don't know if we got a gold at all, but internationally, everyone else's top 10 was going to be non-U.S. people. You know, small bore, rifle and pistol, it was going to be non-U.S. competitors. And everyone's like, well, the United States has so many firearms, why are we not winning in the Olympics? So here's kind of like my short answer to that. We have a lot of gun owners, but we don't have a lot of shooters. I don't know if that makes sense. So people buy guns for other reasons, like self-defense and whatnot. Some people like to collect. It is what it is. But people don't go to the range. They don't go shoot. Listen to it here now, like there's no one else here. I'm on the range. It's a Wednesday, granted, but we have thousands of members of this range. No one is here except me. On the weekends, it gets a little, it gets pretty busy, but that's kind of how it is right now. And people don't shoot. There's less emphasis on shooting for younger people because when it comes to sports, there's no shooting sports in schools anymore, K through 12. Guaranteed there's no shooting sports in coastal cities or coastal states or whatever. in the Midwest, you got the 4-H and stuff like that, and they promote that. ROTC, I don't think they even have firearms or any kind of shooting disciplines there in most places, so it's very limited. When it comes to parents and their kids, most parents aren't teaching their kids to shoot. Most parents, when it comes to sports, they're going to pick one of the major sports: baseball, basketball, football, hockey, etc., soccer, or international football, because those are what help them get notoriety or excel if they want to go pursue that as a career. If they can, good luck. I mean, to be a professional athlete is very difficult. So, but there's opportunities there. And to make money too if you become professional. So that's kind of where that lands. And obviously, political landscape is a huge, political and social landscape is, firearms are stigmatized. They don't want kids to even talk about guns in school. Can't wear an NRA shirt, of course, because that's going to get you kind of kicked out. But things like that. So the fact that we are not having that for our youth, for most youth now, there's an option. That's kind of where we land now. Myself, for example, I grew up when firearms were still relatively okay to talk about in school, right? When you're not going to get called to the office or whatever and suspended just for mentioning a firearm in school, right? In the context of, hey, I'm going to go shooting after school at the range, you can say that. Now you can't even say that because, you'll get in trouble for it. So that being said, even back then when I was, younger, I didn't talk about shooting and I didn't shoot competitively at all. And recreationally, maybe my dad took me out to go shooting at the range once or twice a year, if I'm lucky, once a year. So I didn't start shooting competitively on my own until after college. I got my own money, started, I was interested in firearms always, but, didn't have money to buy guns and go shooting often. So got a job, started pursuing my hobby. So that's kind of where we're landing here is like, you're not having the growth of the sport at a younger age, which leads to, if you're lucky enough that we have people who get into it when they're older in age than you would expect an athlete to get started in a sport. And hopefully they can excel to a level that they could pursue national or international championships. So that's kind of where we're landing now. I say that's kind of where it's at. Like, I'm not saying what we're going to blame here, but that's kind of the reasoning behind why the US in the Olympics didn't do very well in the shooting disciplines when people expected the United States to be the best at shooting. So that's kind of where it's at. Anyway, barrels cool down. I'm going to finish up the rest of these rounds and then we'll wind down this range vlog. So quick target analysis. This is 33.0 of H4350. This is my first 5 rounds in the morning. A little sloppy here, up and down stringing. This is 33.5, which was pretty decent. I would say half a minute. This is 33.5, which is bad. However, I'm not entirely sure where that 5th round went, and I'm concerned that I blew up a round, but I don't think that's the case. But one of these does not look like a double. I don't know. This could be a double here, the way that's edge cut, so maybe it's a double here. I don't know. A little concerning here. Anyway, here's 5 rounds with 34 grains, which is okay. I pulled this one for sure. So I think this is kind of where the group is settling, kind of in line with this. And then this is 34.5, which is overmax. So 34 is overmax, 34.5 is overmax. I didn't like this group, so probably, I don't know. Doesn't look good here. Now this is when we start shooting shortcut. This is 48-31 shortcut, 37.5, which is okay, left and right. And I don't know why that round went there. This is 38 grains, which is really good except for that low one there. Not entirely sure if I threw that. I wasn't really paying attention, but that's a really nice 4-round cluster there. Without that, that's well under quarter minute, but with this is about 3/4 minute. And this is over max here, 38.5, because max is going to be 38.2. And this is okay. A little bit of left and right here. Don't know if this is me rushing the shots, but definitely promising. Notice there's some left and right here. So this could be shooter induced. Elevation looks really good here, except for that. Elevation looks pretty decent here. And this looks really good. So I don't know, shortcut could be promising. The velocities were okay. I think they were hovering above 3,000 for these groups here. Or so those strings. Sorry, I'm trying to go back to my history here. Let me go to history on my Garmin real quick. Shoot that last. Yeah, 3024 for this last one. So we're just above 3,000 feet per second. I may try shortcut a little bit more with shortcut. But yeah, that's kind of how we're at right now. Still breaking this in. A little concerned about the velocity still, about how it's still that first round and the string is just hotter than the rest. But we'll try to work through it and see if it settles down. All done shooting this morning, about to roll out after I get my rifle in the vehicle. But short range session, I think I only fired 30 or 35 rounds. Breaking in the barrel further, getting more data to work with, and trying to figure out what load I'm going to settle on. 4831 shortcuts looking interesting to me, so I may consider using that in the near future. I do use a lot of H4350 because of 6.5 Creedmoor and 6 Creedmoor, but it would also transfer to this. However, it'd be nice to just have an alternative powder that will work with this so I don't deplete my 4350 powder reserves. So I may try 4831 shortcut. It's relatively, I don't say it's easy to get, but you can get it. So I may consider trying that in this case or this cartridge. Anyway, that's it for this range session. Not much else to talk about as far as this gun is concerned. Our NRL 22 match is not this weekend, but the following weekend. So if you want to come out and shoot our match, I'll put the link to the FAQ page or whatever, the information page. You can get information on how to register for our match and how to get here. But yeah, if you want to try NRL 22 and you're in SoCal, definitely come on out. Anyway, that's it for today, Wednesday, August 14th, here at the West End Gun Club. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vlog.